I don't know. I should, do what I'm always telling other people to do and listen to it with ears unclouded by hate.
Ooh, true.
We'll see.
You tell people that?
Yeah. I tell Jeremy that mostly. Welcome to I'd Buy That for $1, a podcast about inexpensive, common, and underappreciated records that are waiting to be rediscovered. I'm your host, Sean Hartman, and I'm realizing right now that I didn't think up a title for myself. So once again, I'm just happy to be here.
I'm Jeremy Nice Ruggles.
Nice.
And I'm Peter Cook, and you can check me out on Instagram at Torn Curtain.
You just rep your
Whoa,
Insta?
No. Are you profiting off of this podcast in the form of Instagram likes, sir? Because I will not stand for that.
You caught me red-handed. That's what I'm doing here.
There's a cabal of record flippers who are relying on Peter to push dollar records to $2 records, and they're going to make the extra dollar profit and cut him in 50 cents per copy.
They're going to pay us millions to change the name of the show to I'd Buy That for $1.95.
I told you I was going to make a career out of this podcast. I didn't tell you how I was going to do it.
It's unraveling before us. Did you guys know that we are joined by a secret special guest on this episode who also just so happens to be the greatest person I know, Darko The Super?
Oh,
Darko The Super's in the house?
Hi, I'm Art Vandelay, and I do architecture. Listen to my podcast. I wouldn't buy that for $10. The new album from Darko The Super.
I thought you were more of an importer-exporter.
He is an importer-exporter.
I also import and export.
Yeah. Before we do too much importing and exporting, do we want to talk about a record real quick? Maybe like 30 to 60 minutes-ish, somewhere around there.
tell the people who Darko is.
Yeah, maybe some. I know he's like pretty much world famous, but maybe a little context.
Worldwide, baby.
Darko, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Darko The Super. I like sunshine and hard-boiled eggs. Also, I rap music.
Yeah.
I've heard
Thank
him rap
you.
some music. I've heard it on digital streams. I've heard it in person. I've heard him rap about Pornhub in front of his father before at a concert. That was an experience.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, Sean. We don't talk about that.
I mean, you were the one that's talking about it. I'm just retelling the history.
It's a classic. It's a Darko classic from the vaults.
I've heard him rap on cassettes.
Cassettes, records, CDs,
Lathe cuts.
lathe cuts.
The man does it all.
I do it all.
Now, if someone wanted to hear evidence of this music rapping, where might they find you on the internet?
You can find me at uddtba.bandcamp.com. Once again, that's uddtba.bandcamp.com. We got underwear.
What does that stand for? That
You don't deserve this beautiful art.
I don't?
You do. But some
Oh.
people, they don't. They don't get it.
And if you got to ask if you're one of those people, then you might not deserve it.
Exactly.
And that's the name of the label you have, right, Darko?
Yeah, I also released some Molly Pizza on that record label. World famous Molly Pizza.
That's true.
Get a slice today.
I'm hungry now.
Jeremy, what's Molly Pizza?
That's my political dance band.
Oh. So is this podcast nepotism then by having your label executive guest on the program?
Yes.
A little quid pro quo going on?
Yeah. You can find that out by looking on my laptop.
Not the Jeremy Ruggles laptop I've heard so much about.
Yeah. Don't click on crackpipefootjob.mpg though.
Everybody's talking about that browser history. All right, can we talk about this record now? We know
Let's talk about
exactly
the record.
who Darko the Super is. People know where to find more information. What record does he want to talk about this week?
I would like to talk about Buzzy Linhart's Pussycats Can Go Far.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's just kick off with a song real quick. Which one are we gonna hear
Kick it
first?
off. I want to hear Shoe That Fly, baby.
Dropping the needle on side A, track 1, as it should be. Here we go.
Won't you come on, baby, shoot that fly with me?
Come on, shoot that fly.
Don't you know that things ain't all as unnatural as they seem to be?
Not as unnatural as it seemed to be.
Yes, you know that fly need shoes need dancing. Come on, baby, won't you take a chance and send your love a message and shoot that fly with me? Stand a chance.
Shoot that.
Yes, it turns some my monsters into mountains with the one eye open sideways glance.
Get some monsters with the one-eyed glance.
Yeah, but when you fly came on the scene, she tried it once and turned into a movie queen. And her review says Shoot That Fly is bound to be the nation's biggest dancer.
Shoot that fly with me.
It seems to be magic. Come on, shoot.
That was Shoe That Fly by Buzzy Linhart. Here on I'd Buy That for $1. Would you?
I certainly would. That was fun.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to kick off the record. It's a fun song, gets you kind of hooked in. Song's a little goofy, a little playful, but catchy and interesting, you know? I feel like this record really rewards multiple listens. There's a lot going on, a lot to pick up on that you might not catch the first couple times you play it.
Yeah, it hints at the dark underbelly of the record to me. The Shoe That Fly, when you actually realize what he's talking about.
Yeah, you find that a lot with this guy's music. Like, at first it seems like kind of a corny, goofy song, and then the more you pay attention to it, it's like, actually, this is really interesting lyrics and very complicated music happening behind it. And yeah, it slowly unfolds.
I have a confession.
Hit me with it.
I've been aware of Buzzy Linhart by reputation, but I'm not sure if I was familiar with his music at all. At least his, original own composed music. I knew of him guesting on other stuff, but he's done session work on a lot of other people's albums. But I don't know that I was very familiar with his original music going in, and I kept forgetting that I wasn't listening to a Randy Newman album while I was listening to this.
Ooh.
Oh man, there is some Randy Newman similarities. I didn't think about that because I don't really ever listen to Randy Newman, but you're totally right.
And that's not a negative. I still think he's his own thing, but that's just the most similar vibe that I could think of.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, what was your familiarity with Buzzy before this?
I think I learned about Buzzy from Darko initially, because Darko loves Buzzy. I don't know if that was made clear at any point yet. And did you work with Buzzy on something? Is that what I'm remembering?
No, I rave about him a lot, but I do know his son now. I first got into Buzzy. I bought this record, Pussycats Can Go Far, from a local record store, Positively Records.
Where are you, Darko?
Where are we? We're in Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Or Marsville, Pennsylvania. Levittown, one of those. It's all the same to me, so I don't know. But, so I was looking at the back of the record. The front is like, he's got an Alice in Wonderland thing kind of going on. And then on the back is just him in all white holding a white cat. And he looks so mysterious and happy and just full of wonder. And I thought, what is this guy up to? So I bought it. And as soon as I heard Shoe That Fly and the rest of the album, I fell in love and knew this was the greatest thing I've heard in a very long time. And I went back to the store and bought every Buzzy record I could find there. I guess someone was selling a collection, and they had this, they had Buzzy, they had his album Music, Buzzy Linhart, his music, and a couple others, I think. Pussycats Can Go Far has always been my favorite. And I sampled Friends, his biggest song, and this version has always been my favorite, the one with the piano at the beginning. I sampled that for an album called Buzzy Linhart, or for a song called Buzzy Linhart Is My Friend. And his son Zeno found out about it and messaged me on Facebook. And we're still friends, And I've just been singing the praises of Buzzy Linhart everywhere I go. So
Being familiar with your music, when I listened to this, I could very much hear a kindred spirit in the music.
yeah, definitely. I wish I could sing like Buzzy. I never heard anyone, sing like Buzzy the way he does things. So yeah, I think my favorite singers of all time are Buzzy and Danny Elfman, specifically for Oingo Boingo's Only a Lad. Which have you ever done that? That's another episode. I got that for $1.
Could definitely be an episode. Yeah, I was just pulling out my copy last night. Actually,
Oh, nice.
doing some organizing.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be a fun one.
Yeah, so Shoot That Fly, that's just a classic. Something about a dance almost, and it just always struck gold with me. So
Right on. Well, I actually, similar to Jeremy, officially got into Buzzy Linhart because of Darko as well. I'd seen his records around a bunch, especially this album, definitely the easiest one to find.
yeah.
But I don't know if I'd ever actually listened to them. And then I saw you posting about them, singing the praises all the time. And I actually bought this record almost exactly a year ago
Oh,
here in Philadelphia at
Oh,
Brewery
nice.
Town Beats.
nice.
Right out the dollar bin.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 copies of Pussycats Can Go Far. I'm actually, I keep forgetting to mail one to my buddy MC Paul Barman, who I put him onto Buzzy Linhart as well, so.
Nice.
Yeah. And one little tidbit, when I first spoke to Zeno, Buzzy's son, he told me that Pussycats Can Go Far, I don't know if it was the album or, well, I think it was just the title track was actually about his kids. So it was about him, Zeno, and his brothers.
What year is this album?
I think it's 1974.
It is. Yep.
74. And he had, well, I guess we're going to go into his background, obviously, at some point here. So I'll refrain from asking the questions of no.
We can dive into a little background. Do you guys want to start on the background now, or do you want to touch on some of the musicians first?
Well, yeah, who's on this? Because, man, the bass on that opening track on that we just heard, I really liked the bass.
Basically, all the musicians on here are just the Muscle Shoals house band. This whole record was recorded at Muscle Shoals, and when you look at the credits for pretty much all the players and the producers and engineers, it's just the whole Muscle Shoals crew just killing it like always in prime form in 1974. So because this record was 74 and was done at Muscle Shoals, that means that almost the entire backing band in this record that same year was also recording Willie Nelson's Phases and Stages.
Nice.
Damn.
Legendary record by him. Yeah, and that's why the playing on here is just so perfect. These are the completely seasoned, absolute pro Southern musicians that were just killing it on like every record during this time period. And then there's a very special guest feature. I don't know how far you guys dug into the extra credits on here, but there's a musician that we sung the praises of early on in this show who has a very funny credit on here. Anybody know who that is?
Is it Herbie?
Herbie Man. On Discogs, it just says that it lists him as percussion for one song, but on the credits on the back of the jacket, it says Herbie Man, backup voices on Shoe That Fly, and then also Wastebasket, Struck by Baseball Bat on The Greatest Person I Know, performed by Herbie Man.
A wastebasket struck by a baseball bat?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you have it.
Yep.
That's
I wish I could find like a story as to how that came about. Like, I imagine Herbie was probably in the studio cutting his own record and just like popped in to say hi, and they gave him a baseball bat and asked him to hit a trash can for the record. I'm assuming that's what happened.
I'm just hoping he did it naked.
Oh, like how else would he do it?
There's no other way.
You got to be naked if you're doing some basket banging.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys want to hear another song?
Yeah. I think
Fine. Yeah,
we're
why
ready.
not?
Let's just cruise right along and hear another track. Darko, what do you want to hear?
Let's do The Greatest Person I Know, since you just mentioned it. That's another one of my favorites on here, and of his whole catalog.
Definitely.
Some people say you're so conceited. Could it be that ego has been defeated? You know I do my job whenever I'm needed. And I've been around, and let me tell you I found that you have got to be the greatest person I know.
You're the greatest. You're the greatest person.
Oh yeah, you have got to be the greatest person I know. Hey, woo! I got to tell you that you're so damn groovy. You make me feel as if I'm watching a movie, and I don't have to be no J. Edgar Hoover to know when I see someone who's so fly and free, because you have got to be the greatest person I know.
You're the greatest. You're the greatest.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have got to be the greatest person I know. North, south, east, west, no doubt, you're the best. Now I've been around, and let me tell you I found that.
I don't know much about Buzzy, but I'm guessing that vibraphone was him.
Yes, it was.
Because he, on a previous album that we did, the Richie Valens one, Alarm Clock.
Richie Havens.
Oh my God. I've fallen into Jeremy's trap. That was never planted in my head. You did it.
Playing the long game, baby.
Richie Havens. The Richie Havens album we did, he was on vibraphone on that album.
Yeah, he's played Vibe on a handful of different records.
Yeah, you don't have to be no J. Edgar Hoover to know that's him on the vibes. Huh?
Hell yeah.
That's a great line.
He played vibes for Jimi Hendrix.
True.
You may have heard of him.
Yep. He has credits on
Electric Ladyland.
Electric Ladyland, and then he was supposed to be more heavily involved with the record Jimmy was working on.
Cry
Yeah.
of Love, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can find a couple tracks out there with some vibes in the background behind Jimmy, which is cool.
Speaking of vibes, you ever hear? Well, you did hear, but Pussycats Can Go Far, the outro. That's one of my favorite moments on this album. The title track.
Yeah, there's so many great little moments because the songs just keep shifting here and there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this record rules. Also, when I was playing this in the living room earlier today, I told my wife Sam that this was the record we were doing tonight and that we were having the one and only Darko the Super, and she listened to the record for a bit and was like, that makes a lot of sense that he would be really into this record. Especially, which is interesting to hear multiple people say that since you guys don't make the same genre of music at all, but...
Yeah, but I feel a kindred spirit in Buzzy,
Definitely. I mean, I think the more you learn about him, the more you listen to this music, he kind of takes on this, like, hero for the disenfranchised or
Yeah,
the
of course.
disillusioned. Yeah. Kind of the hero for the loners and weirdos out there,
Yeah, exactly. And that, it was very... I got this record when I was like 18, it was very coming of age for me.
Oh, perfect.
Suffering from depression and anxiety and all that, and being such a hip-hop head, I never knew, like, there was stuff like this out there that, it was just so beautiful to me. And really changed my perspective on a lot.
Definitely. And Buzzy is kind of the quintessential I'd buy that for $1 artist. He's seems to be almost completely unsung at this point in history. There was a point in time where he was a big, hot, up-and-coming star, and the time is just so far gone. I mean, this was not necessarily his last record, but kind of. He didn't do a lot in the public eye after this, and yeah, trying to shine that light on the forgotten classics.
Sure. Yeah, he's done some stuff after this, and he created his own record label with Buzz Art with a friend, and I know he put out some stuff after this, but yeah, you're not nothing as big as this one, of course. Bruce Springsteen was opening for him. You know what I mean?
Right. There's a lot of legends of him opening up for very famous people when they came through New York, and him just like blowing multiple artists off the stage. I've actually heard a handful of people compare him to Bruce Springsteen in that
Oh, yeah?
he was infamous for having the same working man's attitude towards a live show that Bruce Springsteen does. Buzzy was famous for having like 3+ hour concerts,
No.
going well over his time, just like going nuts, all kinds of energy on stage, just like really, really loved playing music.
Yeah.
He also was, from what I saw from this documentary I watched, very, very picky about audience participation. If he felt that people weren't paying attention to him, he would a lot of times do kind of creative things to fight that. There was like one show I heard about where he just kept running outside in the middle of a song to like take a minute break and just like get some fresh air. And his band thought it was funny like the first 2 times he did it, but then he just like kept doing it the entire show to piss off the audience that weren't paying enough attention to him.
That's something Painted Faces would do.
Oh my God, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And there was one quote someone shared that he's playing a show, people are talking, everyone's being loud, and at one point on the mic he's just like, "How much did you guys pay to get in here? $10? Because I'd pay you 20 to leave."
Nice.
I gotta watch that documentary. Was that the one on YouTube?
Yeah, the like hour and
Yeah.
15-minute long, famous, the Buzzy Linhart story. It was pretty cool. Had some good
Yeah.
information, a lot of good interviews from friends and colleagues and everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear that bio. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about a little Buzzy history.
How did he get Buzzy and talking about flies and shooing them?
So he was born William Charles Linhart on March 3rd, 1943 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then his family shortly after that moved to the land of Cleveland, Ohio. And he was raised there, entered the U.S. Navy School of Music as a percussionist at age 18. And that is unfortunately where some of the sad story begins for Buzzy. The military in the middle of the Vietnam War was not a good place for a peace-loving goofball musician with some, at that point, undiagnosed mental illness. And it was a real rough time for him. Had a several month-long position where he was supposed to be keeping watch. And right before he got it, the person who was keeping watch before him was discovered at their post with their neck slit. And he said he just spent like 6 months in complete terror of his life every night watching this post and just suffered a very long, drawn-out mental breakdown in the process. And then another thing that happened to him in the war was he was ordered to fight this fire that had broken out in the middle of camp. And in the middle of fighting it, he caused severe damage to his lungs and was never able to sing quite as well after that, which is partly why all the recorded material you hear from him has such a unique vocal quality to it. It's because he was really struggling with his vocals at that point.
That tracks. I can hear that.
Yeah. So he left the war, came back to New York City in the mid to late 60s, suffering from heavy PTSD and bodily and mental damage of all kinds, and did his best to overcome that and came up in the Greenwich Village music scene around the same time as people like Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix and Richie Havens. And from everything I've heard from people that worked with him, he had this interesting quality of being extremely famous in New York and not nearly as much in most other places. Apparently, he could sell out pretty much any venue, like any mid-sized venue in New York. He had such a crazy, loyal local following and an insane reputation as a live performer.
You skipped over the part where he was offered to be an actor for Tennessee Williams.
Well, do you want to enlighten us then real quick, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think he went to Miami, if I remember. I might screw these facts up. And David Crosby was there or something. and he tried out for a Tennessee Williams play, and Tennessee Williams was like, yes, yes, please come be in my play. And then he was like, now I'm going to New York.
Wow. Yeah, he made a lot of interesting career choices. That's another thing a lot of people have talked about is he was very self-destructive in his career choices. And it definitely seemed like the demons that he was fighting were at times keeping him from some of this so-called success. But he kind of had this status as like the cliche of your favorite musician's favorite musician. That's why you have all these credits of people he was friends with. You know, he played on the first Carly Simon record. He played on the Richie Havens record. You know, he was friends with Bob Dylan. He basically co-hosted an early version of The Cosby Show in the mid-70s.
Kaz.
Yeah, the one that there's no reruns of and people have basically forgotten about, but he was like Bill Cosby's sidekick in like most of the episodes on that show. He also claims to be the first male full frontal nudity in large budget American cinema.
Really?
And if you guys read about that,
No.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just saw In the Nude, but it didn't mention full male frontal.
well, here's the pro tip. That YouTube documentary has the unedited full frontal male nudity in it. So if you want to not watch the movie and still get that that full Buzzy eyeful, it's up there on YouTube.
Oh, Lord.
The moms haven't seen it yet. They haven't taken it down. But no, that's from, let's see, what movie was that from? That was from a movie that also came out in 1974 called The Groove Tube.
Oh,
Which-
the Groove Tube.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't
He
seen it.
is the hitchhiker in the beginning of the movie.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that. There is some notoriety behind that.
Had early appearance by Chevy Chase in it.
Oh wow.
It's part of the notoriety. It was, yeah, I guess the movie was made by underground, up-and-coming New York comedy group that Buzzy was rubbing shoulders with, being kind of a part of the same scene of weirdos in New York at that time. So that's how he got connected with all of that.
Yeah, it's Ken Shapiro that
Yep.
directed that. Yeah.
Yep. One of the like most common things everybody says about Buzzy is that he was just an extremely funny person and very charismatic. People talked about like on his commutes to band practice, he would regularly just have like the whole subway car that he was in cracking up by just being the funniest guy in the room at all times. He was very good at making friends, which explains why he just knew so many cool musicians.
Yeah, I feel like he's the classic kind of like musician. All the musicians know about him, but the public at large don't.
Yeah. He also, one of his first, if not his very first recorded appearance is on ESP Disc. Did you guys catch that?
I did see something about ESP Disc. Was it
It's his album Buzzy
okay?
with a lowercase b.
Okay, so it's,
Yeah. That's one of my favorites. Has the song Tornado that opens it. And it's one of my favorite love songs, you know.
man, I haven't heard that album, but ESP Disc is fantastic. Early underground New York label.
He also, well, the record I was thinking of actually was a band he was in called the Seventh Sons. They did one record called Raga 4 a.m. at Frank's that came out in 68 on ESP Disc. Because at that point, Buzzy claims that he was basically on the cutting edge of New York psych rock. Mm-hmm. Because this band was attempting to like fuse psych, Eastern sitar music, and folk music together.
Yeah, have you ever heard that Seven Sons?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's on Bandcamp. It's good.
Okay.
Wait, so
Yeah, it's on his Bandcamp.
so it's actually good as opposed to some of the other psych stuff that was on ESP Disc at that time. Which,
Yes.
like the Gods. I mean, I love the Gods, but musically, it's a little inept.
No, this was really cutting edge stuff because they were a psych band fusing Eastern music before all of the other psych bands were doing it. Like when they were making this music before the ESP Disc deal, the Byrds hadn't gone psych yet. The Beatles weren't putting sitar on their records yet. And there's a lot of theories that he was actually one of the big reasons why a lot of these bands were starting to incorporate that. Because at that point, Buzzy and the band The Seventh Sons basically were holding a every night, all night jam session at their practice space. And it just became this infamous thing that all of the cool musicians coming through New York knew that the best after party was at like the Seventh Son's house at the end of the night. So like every night you never knew if like, you know, Hendrix or Clapton or the Byrds or the Lovin' Spoonful were just going to show up and start jamming. And Buzzy had been turned on to Ravi Shankar's music before this. He was getting it from the source, incorporating these ideas, and it took off really well. He potentially inspired a lot of other people with that. Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever heard Sing Joy, Sean?
I don't think so.
His song Sing Joy? It's on Buzzy. That's a lot like the Seventh Sons
Okay.
stuff. It might be I don't remember. I haven't listened to Seventh Sons in a while, but it might be like the same thing.
For sure.
That might just be like a extra, super long jam version of Sing Joy, I think. Something like that.
It could be. Yeah, the Seventh Sons one is just like it's like a record that's like one song across two sides pretty much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less familiar with Buzzy's other work. The Pussycats record is the only one that I actually own right now, but I'm definitely
I got you.
going to be on the lookout for the full catalog.
Well, not to big up SoundCloud, or not Spotify, I mean, but they got Buzzy and The Time to Live Is Now on Spotify, so.
Yeah, this one is not on there.
Yeah, I know.
They couldn't get Atco Records to come around for this one.
Yeah, this is on Atco.
I wanted to reissue this, hopefully I still can someday. Pussycats can go far.
That would be tight.
Yeah.
Echo relaunched this year. I saw.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. I don't understand why, but they did.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be like a partial relaunch just to kind of fully reissue the catalog. I don't know if they're going to sign new artists or not, but who knows?
They already signed a Philly band, it said.
Ooh, okay. You've already got the hot scoop on the new the new workings of
He's already
Atco.
sending his demos.
Sean, you might be on Atco Records anytime now.
Ooh, okay. Let's see what happens. I'm open to it.
Now that you're in Philly.
Seventh Son record happened. Band quickly fell apart because turns out the drummer also had his share of problems, and Buzzy said that the last time he saw the drummer was when the drummer was holding him hostage at gunpoint for 3 days straight.
Oh, man.
And him and his girlfriend finally escaped when his drummer finally passed out from his drug-fueled psychotic rage, and they grabbed what they could hold and took off, and then the band broke up.
That'll sour a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is nuts too, because they were talking about how the band had so much hype around them that they were getting offers from labels. He said they had a really good offer from Elektra and a handful of other notable labels that wanted to make Seventh Sons a big deal. Doors were hitting it big and all these other psych bands, so they're trying to snap up these cool psych groups. And their whole thing was every offer that they got included the deal that they had to use a studio drummer for all the tracks, and they refused to do it. He kept standing by his drummer.
Oh, man.
Was no, I won't take a deal unless you put my drummer on it. And then his drummer tried to kill him not long after that. So young Buzzy couldn't catch an even break.
Yeah. I only spoke to Buzzy once on the phone, and it was rough because, and this is why I tried to do the fundraiser for him with one of my albums. Yeah, he was talking about his PTSD from the war and everything going on. It was really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think he got a little better after that, but yeah.
When did you talk to him? What year? Do you remember?
It was a while back. I don't remember what year, but I remember it being on a holiday. I think it was Father's Day or Easter or something, because I remember being over my grandparents, and he messaged me on Facebook, and I gave him my number for whatever, and yeah, that was that really. That's why I did all that, trying to release albums and stuff to try and he had this fund for his medical expenses with a really this place that seemed like a great place for I guess musicians in need sort of, but yeah, it was really sad. He had this had to been 2016 maybe.
Okay.
When I talked to him.
He just passed away this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in February.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a heart attack in 2018. I guess, he never really recovered all the way from that.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I think one of the most consistent themes in his music is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's recognizing the bad things that are happening and your shortcomings, but just learning to live with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And trying to be happy throughout it.
Yeah, there's so much positivity and
There's like a weird amount of positivity, especially like we talked about. I feel like it'd be really easy for someone unfamiliar with Buzzy to put on a record and think that it's kind of a novelty, kind of jokey record. But it's about so much more than that. It's about like someone coming from like a place of real and painful struggle and working through it on record for you.
Yeah.
Which is why there's like such a variety of themes. There's happy sounding songs about very depressing things and the other way around, and it's very complicated music thematically and coming from a very complicated person.
yeah.
I really like it because it's clear he's tortured and struggling with things, but unlike many artists who make that the focus and in a very negative way, his message feels to me more like trying to find that hope and positivity through that struggle. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Because Pussycats can still go far.
Yeah.
The love's still growing, my man.
Yep.
That's what he showed me. Like, there's so much love and beauty in this world throughout the pain and despair.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really shine this light when, it's like when I put it on the turntable, this light from God shined on it or something and opened my world. So that's why I always really love Buzzy.
Hell yeah.
It's hopeful.
Let's hear another song then on that note.
Let's go with Friends. You know why? Because you guys are my friends and you gotta have friends, all right? So let's hear
Gotta
that.
have friends.
Aw.
Yeah, and this is not Jody Watley featuring Eric B. and Rakim. That was last season.
True.
This is Buzzy Linhart with Friends.
And I am all alone. There is no one here beside me. And my problems have all gone. There is no one to deride me. But you got to have friends. The feeling's oh so strong. You got to have friends to make that day last long. I had some friends, but they're gone. Something came and took them away, and from the dusk to the dawn, here is where I'll stay, standing at the end of the road, boys, waiting for my new friends to come. I don't care if I'm hungry or cold, I'm going to get me some, because you got to have friends. I had some friends, but they're gone. Wow, 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 wow. Something came and took them away, and from the dusk to the dawn. Wow, 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 wow. Here is where I'll stay, standing at the end of the road, boys, waiting for my new friends to come. I do not.
That song sounds familiar. I think I heard it. Oh, I know. It was Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends bumper music from 1998 to 2001.
Do you have a photographic memory for all Fox and Friends bumper music, Jeremy, or did you just read that tidbit?
I just read that tidbit. I've never watched Fox and Friends, silly.
You might also be familiar with that song if you're a big Bette Midler fan.
Oh, and I am not.
I am, as Beaches, that's my favorite movie of all time, but beyond that, not too familiar, except for her appearance on Seinfeld, of course.
Yeah, legendary appearance. High point of her career, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did know this song, but I didn't know that version of it, and this is not the normal Buzzy version that people usually know. Is that right, Darko?
I guess so. Yeah. But this is my favorite version.
Yeah.
This was the first one I heard, and
Yeah.
But no, he did, earlier ones on one of his previous albums.
Yeah, I liked that version a lot. This one
Yeah.
bumps and bops maybe a little bit more.
So the story that in the interview Buzzy talked about is that the first time he met Bette Midler, she had come to see him in concert in New York and met him backstage and just said that she was totally blown away by his performance, and they were hanging out and he was playing her some new songs that he had written, and he played her the song Friends, and she reached back out to him a couple days later and asked if she could have permission to start performing that song. And since then, that has become Bette Midler's theme song. She apparently plays that song at every single show she ever does.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure her version is a little different. Maybe not quite as interesting as Buzzy's. Maybe it doesn't have the same level of depth, but maybe it does. I personally am not a Bette Midler fan yet, so...
Yeah. I'm just waiting, Sean.
Yeah. We got to find that Bette Midler gem.
Carly Simon does a version of his song "The Love's Still Growing," I believe.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed that though, and I was surprised.
Yeah, well, I like Carly Simon. I can see her.
Yeah, I mean that was my first time listening to her. I think.
I can see her doing some good things with his music. She's
Yeah.
a little more savvy on kind of, I would say that she can get into some darkness a little bit more. Emotions.
Did you know that Buzzy and Carly briefly dated?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Buzzy played on, I think, all of the tracks on Carly Simon's self-titled debut record in 1971, and then he wrote the closing track on there, "The Love's Still Growing," which, if you listen to that, it has kind of a Eastern-inspired psych feel to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonder where she came up with that.
But have you heard his version? It starts out like that, like the psych. The opening of each of the verses start like that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, he played on Carly Simon's self-titled debut record, and she played on the one track on Richie Havens' Missing Train that we talked about. Buzzy at one point was also roommates with a certain John B. Sebastian.
From the Lovin' Spoonful?
Yes, they were roommates before the Lovin' Spoonful got big. He played on the song Magical Connection on John B. Sebastian's self-titled record from 1970. Buzzy also played on LaBelle's self-titled record from 71, and he played on one of the Cat Mother records too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He had some interesting features here and there, and probably a good handful of records that he played on or had a hand in that he is not credited for anywhere. Yeah, Buzzy rules.
Really did your research, Sean. This is cool.
I tried. I tried real
great,
hard. Thanks.
I should really listen to this podcast.
We got some stuff every once in a while, you know. We try to be informative and not too boring. Mm-hmm. You know, we do our part. You guys want to talk about some more like similar listens? I know there's not really anyone quite exactly like Buzzy Linhart, but I put together a little playlist on Spotify of some stuff that I thought is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us with that list that did not include Randy Newman as of this recording.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's do this. I put 5 artists on this playlist that we have featured on this show before. Can you guys guess any of them?
Let's see. I would have to suspect.
Andy Pratt.
Yes.
Yeah, Andy Pratt, definitely. Guessing you didn't go 10cc.
Oh, I went 10cc.
Oh,
Aw.
you did.
I did. I put a nearly 7-minute long 10cc song on there, Somewhere in Hollywood, from their classic
that's a
sheet
classic.
music record. Such a good
Somewhere
song.
in Hollywood is one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to bring up the fact that Darko is a major 10cc fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're my favorite band. Till they sued Dilla, and now I'm a little bummed about that.
Oh, bummer.
But it makes sense. They're still my
Was
favorite.
it Godly and Cream that sued Dilla, or was it the other guys?
Probably the other guys, right?
It was. Let's just say that it was the other guys.
Yeah. Original soundtrack. No, what's the other one that Somewhere in Hollywood is on?
Sheet music,
Oh yeah, sheet music. Yeah, that's probably
which has the Dilla sample on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I listened to that in their first one a lot. That I would compare them to Buzzy too.
Totally.
Yeah,
Disagree.
well, that's because you're
No
dumb.
good reasons, just
They
disagreeing.
come from a totally different place. They come from a different place entirely. the goofy part of it is like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it gives you the same type of feeling.
Disagree.
It's
That's
goofy,
all right.
veiled political commentary, Jeremy. Just fucking grow up and admit to yourself that you like 10cc.
I didn't Facebook research this one, but I believe that Darko, when Jeremy commented on 10cc hate, I believe Darko, you said, "You're tripping, homie. 10cc is my favorite band of all time."
I don't know if I used tripping. I probably said bugging. That's
Maybe,
my
but
thing,
yeah,
bugging.
bugging. Yeah, it might have been bugging. That sounds like more like you. Yep.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
yeah, I can't verify verbatim anyway. But yeah, that,
All right, are you guys going to guess the other three artists, or do I have to tell you? You got Andy Pratt and 10cc. What are the other three?
the ones
Go,
that
go.
these are ones that we featured like full albums on.
Yes.
Like Richie Havens, probably.
No.
Oh man, what are some other quirky? You didn't put Melanie on there, did you?
No, but I probably could have. All right, so I put Bread on there, which is a little more of a stretch.
I can see that.
Yeah, totally. The two that I thought actually have some really interesting comparisons are Phil Oakes. I've got the song Basket in the Pool from the Greatest Hits record that we did.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And then I put a Jimmy Spheris track on here too.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's definitely one that I can see. And speaking of openers who could steal the show from the headliner,
Yeah. Yeah, when I was like doing the research for Buzzy, there was a ton of statements from his friends that sounded exactly like things I'd heard other people say about Jimmy Spheris. So
yeah,
highly recommend checking out Jimmy Spheris stuff for anybody that liked this episode and wants some more interesting, highly original music.
Hey, can I make a little suggestion too?
Yeah, what do you got?
You guys should check out my man Dean Friedman, especially Rumpled Romeo. That's what I'm on
Okay.
right now. It's a lot sadder, but I love it.
All right.
But some of it's, it's goofy, it's fun. He does a lot more storytelling, but I really love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. 1982 that came out, looks like.
Yeah, 81, but yeah, or 2, I
Okay.
don't know.
Well, Discog says 82, sir.
Well, the man said 81, so me and Dean are doing an album.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, he's the one. I did a record called McDonald's Girl. That was a split with him. I remixed
okay.
his song. Yeah,
Nice.
that's Dean. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I got to check that out then. I mean, you've never steered me wrong before, so.
Yeah, so I'm doing a whole album of rap versions of Dean Friedman songs. He's
Nice.
got this one called Nookie in the Mail, and it's like the Send Nudie Pictures anthem, from 1982. So he was way ahead of his time, is all I'm saying.
Real pioneer.
He's got this song called Buy My Baby a Car. You got to check that out. That's probably my favorite. I made it like, I turned it into like Buy My Baby a used Fiero off Craigslist. So,
I mean, syllabically, it fits in so perfectly.
you're right.
All right, so real quick, more further listening for people that want to check into some other artists and check out the Spotify playlist that we make every week to accompany these episodes. I also featured a handful of tracks that Buzzy is playing on. You got your John Sebastian track, some Laura Niro, not exactly sure how to pronounce her
I've
last
always
name.
heard Nero, but I'm not 100%.
Okay, probably Nero. Featured a LaBelle track that he's on, the Carly Simon track, The Love's Still Growing, that we talked about. And then some other stuff I put on there that I thought had some similar vibes. Buffy St. Marie, Todd Rundgren, Carpenters.
Oh, yeah, Todd Rundgren.
Yeah, Jonathan Edwards, Leon Redbone, NRBQ. This guy, Don Agrati, who Spotify actually recommended as a similar artist that I'd never heard of. And I was listening to his record, Homegrown, that I was really digging, and it has some similar vibes. So you check that out. David Bromberg is another guy that I think has a lot of similarities to Buzzy. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that name at all.
Just the name, I don't know the music.
I believe he got his start as a Bob Dylan sideman before he went solo, but he has a lot of like very quirky, almost cheesy music at times with, more depth than you would initially pick up on.
Hey, Peter, who's that one guy you covered at the ADT Fest?
Kevin Ayers.
How'd you know? That was exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
yeah.
you and both you and I Alive were really stoked about that because he had just
we were listening to Joy of a Toy a lot.
like on the way to the festival, and then I go and play.
I got back into that recently, Joy of a Toy. I really love it.
Yeah, it's a great album. I played
Yeah.
Lady Rachel. I covered Lady Rachel from that.
Yeah, Lady Rachel, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Ayers is amazing. He was in Soft Machine
Oh, okay.
early on, and then had a lot of solo stuff.
Yeah, my favorite song for Insane Times. That's my favorite on there.
Yeah, that's on Joy of a Toy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
All right. I got 3 more recommendations that I know Peter is going to fully back me up on. First one is not a bargain bin record, but the Dennis Wilson record, Pacific Ocean Blue.
Yeah, 100% back you up on that. That's a
Okay.
fantastic album.
I also put a Tim Harden track on there because they were buds.
Love Tim
in the
Harden.
New York scene. Yep. And then another Tim Buckley. Another folk musician that got real weird at times.
guess so.
Oh, yeah.
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 You know who, you actually sold me a record of this guy, Dirk Hamilton. You guys know that dude?
I remember you buying that and us like listening to it a little bit and being into it, but I haven't dug back in since then.
Yeah, it's kind of got a similar, it's like poppy singer-songwritery, and then there's like these records I got at least from like the mid-70s have that kind of funky vibe, that like Muscle Shoals kind of, I don't know what you call that. It's not funk music, but it's got a funky vibe.
You know, a lot of the Muscle Shoals stuff has a real heavy gospel influence to it. And I actually was going to mention that earlier that, you know, not only did the players on here record with Willie Nelson that same year, but a lot of them were also working with people like Aretha Franklin during this time period. And if you listen to the backing tracks under that context, it makes so much sense. And Buzzy specifically had a lot of background gospel influenced background vocals on this record, and I think that's a pretty consistent theme for that Muscle Shoals Southern sound.
Yeah, but I know what you mean with the funk, Jeremy, because I was thinking that earlier when Buzzy was singing, "Oh yeah," you know, I was thinking that's some Parliament type of singing, and I dig it.
Truly something for everyone with Buzzy Linhart.
Yep.
Darko, you had mentioned that you have a song of your own that you want to feature on this episode, a first.
Sure, yeah,
for this podcast?
debut just for you guys.
What is it? Tell us about it.
Well, I was in Disney World with my girlfriend when I heard of Buzzy Linhart passing, and on the plane ride back, I listened to "Love Still Growing" on repeat, and I wrote this song. And if you like to hear it, here it goes.
Let's do it.
Okay. The love's still growing. I don't know how, I'm just going to read it. I don't know how I would sing it yet. But, the love's still growing. The blood's still flowing. Buzzy Linhart, since you left, it's been dark. Some folks say all hope is gone, but they're wrong. I wrote a song. I'm so high I can't go on. No more dancing on the White House lawn. I'm so high I can't come down. If heaven was a mile away, I'd turn this car around. They cheat, lie. My freak flag flies. It's time to know that some must go. In another life, when we're both pussycats, we'll go far, we don't have to burn out fast. No turning back, let's shoo that fly. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. We all need friends to not get bent out of shape. From outer space, the world is won, the war is won. The devil defeated, my spirit's rising. My heart's completed, it's hypnotizing. It's mystifying, defying odds. Save a seat for me if there is a God. Zeus had a lightning rod, Buzzy had a guitar. 3 wishes from a genie, 1 from a shooting star. Bless your life, Zeno, babies in Reno. The original beautiful genius. Welcome to the wonderful world of Venus. Earth people, he's from Jupiter. Buzz Lightyear, and he's even more groovier. Glad I got to give my flowers. Some people must have special powers. Matters of the heart, he put it in his art. The day the music died, I was with my Valentine, sleeping in the pines. The time to live is now. My mind was in denial. He took me to the pilot of my soul. I sang joy loud and bold. It was no tornado after all, and the rain playing basketball didn't even get wet. North, south, east, west, no doubt you're the best. I don't want to ever say goodbye. I want to say hello. Jimmy's on the harp, Buzzy's on the vibraphone. Picking at the scab, I couldn't leave my mind alone. Tell the angels Buzzy's coming home as the stormy winds have blown. I owe my life to the ones who have come before, putting on my good face just once more. As the church bells ring, Leilah's shaking that thing. Take me to the sweetest place, sometimes we all need to escape. You don't look like a movie star, but you got what it takes. Set my soul on fire like Captain Hornbone. A sincere thank you to the greatest person I know. The future shapes our dreams of gladness. Be like me, enjoy the madness. You know, so that's that.
Hell yeah.
Aw, that was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really devastated when I found that out, but yeah, got a little misty-eyed reading that, you know? Mm-hmm. It's tough, but yeah.
Bet.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's beautiful about music. You can really make that personal connection, especially
You're
when you
right.
got great artists like Buzzy Linhart that really just, you know, laid it all out there, opened up their soul on wax for us. So I think we're going to play this closing track in a second, but first, Darko, you want to hype any upcoming projects? Maybe some like hot records that are about to drop on November 6th?
Yeah, I got a new album. There's a Horse in the Hospital coming out November 6th on You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art. I think it's my best work yet, my latest and greatest. You know, I got Nosage from New Kingdom on there, my man Day Tripper from The Difference Machine, Harvey Cliff on the artwork and a few tracks. We got this song all about Mandy, the greatest Nicolas Cage film. You know, so there's a lot going on there. It's a concept album. It's a little political, well, a lot political, but you know what I'm saying. And after that, I got a new album with Big Baby Gandhi, produced by him. I got an album with Steel Tip Dove in the works. Me and Dean Friedman, you know, doing that album, and you know, a lot more. So
Always staying busy.
I'm just gonna keep working. You know, that's all I could do.
Well, I'm just going to say, as someone that has listened to a lot of Darko the Super material, unfortunately not all of it, because there's just so much.
I don't think Darko's even heard all of it.
It's entirely possible. I got to agree with you. Horse in the Hospital is the best work that I've heard from you so far, and I'm very happy to have pre-ordered it. I'm excited for it.
Oh, thanks so much, man.
And it's an edition of 40 that's coming out, right? Did I
Yeah,
read
just
that
40.
right?
I'm just doing lathe cut, 12 inches. And I'm going to get like these cool jackets, you know, sleeves, but like just put stickers on them that I'm getting designed. You know, and I got
Nice.
the wallet CD type of thing going on. And I just got shirts in if you want a shirt. And everything comes with a sticker.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Pick that record up before it's gone, y'all.
Do it.
Yeah, and we'll just remind our listeners that you can always check us out on Instagram as well as Facebook. Keep our social media updated. And you can support us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/I'd Buy That Podcast, or you can find the link in the show notes. We've been growing in season 2. It's exciting.
It's true.
Hey, can I plug one more thing?
Go for it.
Oh, please do.
Because I wasn't sure if I could talk about this, but I think I can now. I produced a new album for MF Grimm called The Hunt for the Gingerbread Man 2, Get the Dough. And that'll be on double 12-inch. It'll come with a booklet with all the characters and the artwork, all by my man Harvey Cliff. You know, so that's my magnum opus right now after
Yeah, that's a
There's
big
Horse in
deal,
the
damn.
Hospital, so
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Darko.
Yeah, we'll see.
You've I don't know if you want to mention just some of the artists that you've put stuff out by on You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art. I was blown away when you got our Stevie Moore to put something out on there.
Yeah. Our Stevie Moore, he's a wacky dude, you know, but yeah, I love that album we put out and all his work. Well, I don't know about all. I haven't heard it all. There's, you know, a million of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Serengeti, you know, shout out to Serengeti. That's how I was able to work with MF Grimm. Actually, you know, he's huge for me and one of my favorite artists of all time. So yeah, you know, we put out a lot of great stuff. Big Baby Gandhi, my man Migraine McNasty was our first cassette. That was huge for me. He's who I listened to every day in high school, you know, him and MF Doom. It was either McNasty or Mad Villainy. So yeah. So I'm trying to think of any, you know, the Dean Friedman thing was amazing for me. He's one of my favorite songwriters of all time. So doing something with him was cool. Yeah, so now just me and MF Grimm going to try and take over the world now. So we'll see.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
It's time.
The world needs
time
it.
has come.
Yes, it does. All right, I'm done plugging. I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
Cool. Well, I think we're gonna go out on the title track from this record.
Nice.
If that sounds good to y'all.
Yeah.
I like it.
I want to mention one other song. I think it's called See You Again. That's my other favorite from Pussycats Can Go Far. I think that's like the ultimate, one of the ultimate love songs, like first falling in love. Hearing that, you know, it's really amazing. So, all right.
And for also one last thing, further listening, Buzzy stated in an interview I watched that his favorite song that he ever wrote is on this record, and it's a track called "There It Goes Again."
Oh yeah.
So
That's a classic.
Oh, that was maybe my favorite listening through this most recent times.
kind of hard to pick the standout tracks from here because it seems like every time I listen to it, I have a new favorite track. So just go buy the record, buy all the Buzzy Linhart stuff, and listen to more episodes of this podcast. Buy all Darko's material. You'll be much better off, I promise.
Are there any particular lines or lyrics? I know. I mean, I feel like in all of his songs, there's a real key lyric. Are there any particular ones in this last cut that strike any of you in any particular way? in the title track, Pussycats Can Go Far.
I'm incapable of hearing lyrics.
Yeah, Darko, you're a more lyrically based person. Is there anything that you divine from the title track?
Oh, yeah, of course. The last thing I said in the song I wrote for him, be like me, enjoy the madness. I think that really encapsulates Buzzy Linhart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's from Pussycats Could Go Far.
Excellent.
I'm gonna
Definitely.
go with that one.
All right. Well, this has been I'd Buy That for $1, and my name is Peter Cook.
I'm Sean Hartman.
I'm Jeremy Ruggles.
And I'm Darko the Super. See you later, guys.
Pussycats can go far. The future shapes their dreams of gladness. Happy's right where you are. Be like me, enjoy your madness. Time can be satisfied by no one. I'm always glad if I can show another one that a pussycat can go far. She enjoys the sound of laughter, shining bright like a star, star, star. Happy noise is what we're after. Life can be perfect